Hey guys, Kat here. I'm gonna take a video of me building my gaming computer as promised. So I will show you the pieces and parts that I'm actually using for my computer high performance. And here we have my power supply, my motherboard 390. There it is. My CPU, my 2 terabyte solid state drive, and my baby, my GeForce RTX 2070, excuse me. And we have, I'm going to be using a fan, not liquid. Maybe later on I upgrade, but for now, we'll go with that. And this is my case. It's pretty badass. Okay, for now I'll be getting that case. Later on I'll update to something much cooler, but for now this is pretty cool. Hey guys, so I'm gonna show my motherboard and how I put the CPU in. But first things first, just for safety and taking precaution, I'm gonna take out the battery out of the motherboard. So I'm gonna show you guys that. You're gonna pop it out, and it should come out. For here, I already popped it out, so it's out. So I'm gonna do that first. Okay, next I'm gonna prepare the motherboard to put in the CPU. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the next step. So I'm here and I'm going to pop my little guy out. Wait, I need the other hand. Pop this little guy out and let it open up. Hey, what's up? Alright, it's ready to put in my CPU. Hey guys, I'm going to show you now an easy way or an idea that you can use to put the CPU easily on the motherboard. Give me one second, let me show you. Okay guys, so I used tape to lower my CPU down onto the motherboard safely. And now what I'm going to do to take out my tape is I'm going to hold on onto the CPU and try to take out the tape slowly. Okay, so you hold on to it. I'm not going to show it here because I can't hold the camera at the same time that I'm, taking the tape out. So I'm going to let you guys go, but at least now you get the idea. You just hold it down and take out the tape from the top. Okay, so I got my tape off the top. Like I said, I just hold on the side. And now I'm going to snap this guy onto the CPU. And then pretty much we jump into the next step. But that's my CPU right there, that little guy. Make sure you're aligned with the arrow. So I forgot to say that in the first part. So make sure you're aligned. And then from there we go to the next step. Stay tuned guys. So I'm going to snap my CPU in place. It's a little tight. Okay, the little hood popped out. Let me see, where is it? Right here. So the little hood popped out, and that's normal, so don't be afraid if it does pop out. Like, you don't have to be afraid of that. But now you see my little CPU right there. And then I snapped it into place. Okay, I made sure that all the sides were aligned, so there was no problem. And make sure the arrow is in the right place. And then from there, you're good to go. You're safe. All right, next step. Okay guys, so make sure so you see right there, you have a notch, your arrow right there. Make sure all sides are aligned before you snap the little guy in place, okay? Just wanted to make sure I emphasized on that because you don't want to mess up your CPU or the motherboard. So make sure everything is aligned before you snap anything. If anything is out of place, put it back again in the right place. So that way you don't mess it up and snap it into the wrong place and mess up your CPU. Okay? Alright guys, so I'm following the instructions on the Noctua. I don't know, however you say that. I have here my cooler, okay, that I'm going to be using. I have it on my video, the beginning of the video, on what I'm using. So I have here my little bracket. Okay, so I turned around my motherboard. And you can see everything is aligned. So I'm going to put this little guy through. And you see right here, the screws are being aligned. Okay. This little guy goes in. Wait, 1 second. Yep. You should go right in. So next you put in your little brackets. You're gonna put first in the little caps before you put your brackets. So I'm gonna show you guys. These little cap guys that come in for your cooler. Right here, these little guys. Sorry, these little guys. You're gonna put those in, and then afterwards you're gonna put the bracket on top. So you just set it on top, and it should say this side up right here in the little thing, this side up, and obviously that side goes up as it says, and you just mount it on there just like you did here. It should just fall right in place. You're gonna put your thumb screws in to fasten the bracket in. Screws on, and then afterwards I'm gonna tighten them down with a screwdriver. So I'll show you guys already that completed, so, and also showing you the next step because I don't think I need to show every single screw that I screw in. So before I put the paste, I actually cleaned my CPU on top a little bit with a coffee filter with 90% alcohol, 91%, excuse me, and this shouldn't leave any little fuzzies on there, because if you use like a cotton ball or if you use a Q-tip or whatever, it might actually leave some little guys on there, and then the paste won't actually glue with the cooling. So I used something to clean it that won't leave any fuzzies, which is the coffee filter, which is weird, but it actually works. So I just cleaned it a little bit with alcohol, not too much, just enough to let it dry off really fast, and then afterwards I put my paste. And I'm gonna show you the next. Yeah, there you go. Alright guys, I actually, I skip a little bit this step because it's a little hard to record. So I'm gonna let you guys in a little bit on what I did. So I put my another little bracket in, and I basically screwed those screws in, and the other little spring screw, this one, they actually come in and you just put it in with this guy. And then try not to tighten it too much because you don't want to mess up your CPU. Just crush it in there. So be very careful, make sure you follow your instructions to the T when you're screwing this stuff in. But yeah, it's not that hard, it's just harder to record why. Maybe I might make a video later on of me actually screwing this guy in, but for now I'm just gonna skip a few steps on this and let you guys just decipher the instructions to best of your knowledge, and then later on I'll make a video to guide you guys. So I'm gonna put the memory first before I put the fans, so that way that's not in the way and it gets messy. So, but before I do all that, I'm gonna let you guys in on something. If you don't already know this, you can skip the video if you already know this part, but don't skip too much because you might skip some detail that I'm about to say. So you have the short length before the notch. Short length goes in with short length side. Long length, this side is longer, is gonna go in with the long length side. So make sure you match them to correctly. You don't wanna mess it up. And make sure also you follow your manual where it says you have to place your memory, okay? So in our situations right here, I'm gonna be following this one, okay? Because that's what the memories where they go. So I'm gonna be putting that in the slot. So I'll show you guys now how I'm gonna do it. Guys, so the deal is, if you have more questions about this, so if you're putting one, make sure you put it where it says here, the A2, at least for this motherboard. I don't know if you have some other motherboard, whatever the instructions say that you're gonna put it, go by that. If you're putting 2, make sure you put it in B2 and A2. Don't put it like an A1 or this or that, no, make sure you put it B2 and A2, okay? And then if you have 4, it really doesn't matter where you put it because you're putting all 4 at once. So it's not gonna mess it up or not gonna mess with it. But just make sure if you have 1, put it in A2. If you have 2, put it in B2 and A2. And if you have 4, well, it doesn't matter. But as far as that goes, make sure you pay attention to the instructions on this part. You don't want to mess this up. Okay? And then afterwards, I'm going to show you guys how to put these little guys. So make sure this little guy is unlocked. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna press it equally down and you're gonna hear like a click. Press it down. So you should hear a click. Once you hear a click, then it takes a little like strength. I mean, if you're like me, that you're not that strong, I guess, or you're very cautious. So it might take a little pressure down, but it's not gonna be like where you need to punch it in. So just make sure you put a little pressure in until it clicks. Once it clicks, you see this little guy will go up, and that's it. Your guy is locked in place. Okay guys, next step, gotta make sure where your fan goes. Usually on this motherboard that we're using, it goes right next to the CPU. Okay, so you have here, make sure that you're looking at your menu, depending on your motherboard. At least for this one, it goes up here on top of your motherboard. Okay, here's your CPU, remember, and right here is gonna be connected, and the other fan is already connected, so you can see here we already have one connected. The next one I'm gonna show you guys, we're gonna connect it, make sure it aligns with the connector. So you have this guy on top like this, because it's gonna connect right here, because you see this little piece, and then you're just gonna click it in there. See, you connect it in there, make sure it's slide right in. There shouldn't be any pressure to that. Then we're gonna put our fan, mount it on. There we go. Make sure these guys go right into these little grooves. Make sure you have it there stable. Shouldn't be that complicated. And that's it. And you guys have your little fan. I'll show you guys the front. So there you go. You guys have my front of my fan. Okay. And this is going to be a flow that you're going to have from this side onto the other side. Right here. Okay. Giving you a good view of that. And a good view of right here, leveled out. Okay. There. And make sure you have space here. And you're good to go. Next guys, next I'm gonna put my SSD, M2, M/2. And right here, I'm gonna look onto my motherboard on the instructions that it has it right here. M2 socket, okay, for my motherboard. Read your instructions to see where your motherboard is supposed to receive the M2 if you have an M2, if you're putting on an M2. So you're gonna look onto their motherboard to put the M2. For my motherboard, mine's is gonna be over here. For my M2, you're gonna take out the screws, and you're gonna take out this guy. And over here, when you turn it around, you have this little sticker right here. It says remove. I'm gonna be removing this sticker, okay? Which basically, this whole thing I'm gonna remove. This whole spongy thing, which is basically just a protection cover. But you're gonna remove it, and then I'll show you. I'll show you guys. So I take out this little guy, and I put my M2 storage device into this little space here. Okay, that's supposed to go in, and then I'm gonna screw this guy in. Okay, and then that's it. That's done with the step. My 2 terabyte M2 solid state drive. Done. Okay, guys. I just put in the board in. I didn't show that part, but it's pretty much, I mean, self-explanatory at this point. Maybe I'll make a video on it, depends, because this won't be my first computer building, but what's it called, after I put in the SSD, then I just put in my board inside the case. So you see it inside the case. It's huge, humongous, with that freaking fan that I have going on. Pretty much like the hard part is done, and then I'll show me putting the video card, so on and so forth. So the next step I'll show in just a few seconds. Okay guys, we're gonna install the rear fan. So now we have our manual. We go back to our manual, and we're gonna put it on chassis fan, CHA. And right here, we have 4 pins, but we can use the 3 pins. It's okay if we miss out on the other pin. Nothing's gonna happen, it's all good. Okay, so you put your little fan here, you install it here. It should go in easily into the groove. You shouldn't have any issues. Just make sure you're looking at your manual to make sure you're putting it in the right place. At least for this motherboard, this is how it goes. For other motherboards, I guess you have to look at your manual and see how it goes. I'll try to make more videos of different motherboards eventually in the future. But as far as this one goes, yeah, that's where you're looking at. Okay, next, we are ready to just put the connectors to connect the front panel that I have here, these guys. So the 3.0 USB, the audio, the other USB. We're gonna go around. Your case should bring the cables, so you are able to connect it onto your motherboard. Okay, so each one, just go by the manual that you have for your motherboard, and you should have them here listed. And from here, then it will direct you where each of them go and which one goes where. So it's not too sophisticated. It should be very to the point, and it usually tells you also where it goes. And that's about it. I mean, you match those up and that's it. And then next I'll show you guys how to put the video card in, and we're getting closer to being done. Okay, so I have my power supply that I'm gonna put into the slot here, right here. That's for your power supply. And I have my PCIe connector, and I have my SATA as well. We're not gonna put that one in today, but I wanna keep that option open. Just in case if I put my driver in. So, but that's for later. Anyways, so I'll show you guys. I'll turn around, go to the other side. It's like, to the other side. So I got my 24 pin onto my motherboard. We're looking here at my motherboard. So I'm trying to give you guys a good view. Okay, and then over here, up in this little corner, here, where's it? Right there. I have my 8 pin. There you go, my 8 pin. So you're looking at this from the top corner, right here, the 8 pin. And just so you guys get a view, 8 pin, 24 pin. That's what you're looking at. But you guys should read the manual, depending on your motherboard. If you're using mine, then that's where it goes. So now you're aware. Yep. And then for this one, we're waiting on putting in the video card. What time it is? That's what time it is, guys. Video card time. Okay, so now this monstrosity, I'm going to install it onto my computer, or not my computer, my motherboard, sorry. I'm gonna show you guys quickly, but I can't be doing that while I'm holding my phone, so I have to put my phone down and then afterwards put it. So I will try to show you as much as I can while I hold my phone and record it. So here goes nothing. Okay, moment of truth. We're gonna turn on this bad boy already that we just built. So I'm gonna go over here and let's cross our fingers. We're gonna turn it on and see what happens. Moment of truth. Let's see if this bad boy turns on, which it did. I actually turned it on already. Sorry, spoiler alert. And we look at our TV or monitor, whatever you're using, and it turns on. Total memory. Ta-da! And it's very silent. You can't hear anything. If you hear a fan, it's because it's the other fan. It's not really the actual fan that's on here. I'm installing Windows now. So computer's working. Everything is on. Our installation is complete. We can say that just by seeing this already happen. Windows installing. It's at 84% now. It's going very fast, pretty fast. But yeah. So our computer was born today, April 14th, 2 a.m. or 2 something. I don't know, whatever the time is. But yeah, so tonight's our baby was born.